Welcome back, everyone. This is Chapter 4, Lisa's Lifeless Love of In19. Let's get into it. Our story begins on September 15th, 2027. Lisa wakes up to her alarm going off. Dazed, she reaches up and presses dismiss. After a few minutes of silence, she opens one of her hazel eyes. She then pushes a part of her long brown hair out of the way of her face to reveal her other eyelid, and then opens that one. She gets up to get ready for work. Her apartment bedroom is a square little room with red walls and a window that is on the opposite side of the room of the door. Both the window and the door are centered on the wall. The window has a brown curtain hanging that is always closed. From the perspective of a person standing in the doorway, right of the window there is a bed. To the left of the window there is a dresser with two desk lamps clamped to the front of either side. On the top of her desk there is a phone, tripod, makeup, and skincare products that she reviews on her Bookline video page. Just above her bed is an old, ripped, and tatted poster. Although a little worn, you can still read most of what was written. As Lisa was heading out of the door of her room, she glanced back at the poster hanging on the wall. She takes a deep breath and then exhales and whispers, "Okay," before she leaves. She walks into the living room. The laundry room is to the right of her room. To the left of her room is Bobby's room, her little brother's room. She went through the living room into the kitchen of the apartment, carefully stepping over some cords that were hanging in the air, since Bobby was holding a controller and playing a game from across the room on a big box TV. She stepped into the kitchen and walked over to the refrigerator. Opening the door, she pulled out a cookie jar from the bottom shelf and pulled out $2 bills, putting it inside of Bobby's green backpack. Then she walked back to see Bobby, who was wearing a bright yellow sweatshirt and black sweatpants. He began to rub one of his brown eyes gently and then scratch part of his short black spiky hair. He was still playing the video game he was playing on their TV when Lisa walked forward and banged on the TV, which then caused it to glitch a little. She did so to get Bobby's attention. Bobby says, "I know, just about finished." Lisa then walks into the laundry room to check her phone because it had a notification. She had left her phone in the laundry room the night before when she was doing laundry. She picked up her phone and unlocked it to see a game notification, and then her friend Taylor called, and that she had left a text message to Lisa that her boyfriend Blake was in a car accident and didn't make it. Lisa calls Taylor, and Taylor says it's true. Lisa's shocked by this, drops her phone in a laundry basket full of laundry. Taylor says, "Are you still there?" Lisa then takes a deep breath and sighs sadly. Taylor tries to cheer her up. Also, she said the person seemed to speed up when they saw him. It must have been one of those psycho people. "I'm sorry, Lisa." Lisa asks if anyone else has heard the news. Taylor replies, "Only me and Chris." "Why?" Lisa says, "Can you keep it a secret? I don't want to ruin River and Sunny's special day." Taylor says, "Sure, but are you sure you'll be okay?" Lisa says under her breath, "I hope so." Then the call ends. Suddenly confusion turned to furious as she thinks about who would be so horrible to hit Blake. Then an alarm goes off on her phone. It was to remind her not to be late. Bobby, hearing it, repeats what the alarm says, word for word, in a mocking tone, saying, "You don't want to be late for work." Lisa is startled and begins to tear up a little, but then wipes it away, saying with a sigh, "Okay." She pulls out a beige turtleneck, black long graphic shirt with a picture of smiley french fries, and black and white checkered pants that she was wearing to work today because they were celebrating their friend's birthday at the museum. All of the workers and their families were going to have a slumber party at the museum in the basement. Even some of the patrons were going to wear pajamas. Lisa grabs her phone from the laundry basket. Then she walks out of the laundry room and down a small hallway that leads to the outside door. With the outside door just in front of her, she turns to put her phone on a little side table to the left of the door, then walks across the hallway into the bathroom to get ready for work. After getting dressed, she brushes her teeth. After finishing, she walks out of the bathroom and into the small hallway. She says to Bobby, who is packing his lunch, "I'm leaving." Lisa tries to stay calm while thinking about the news she received earlier. Then Lisa walks out the door, forgetting her phone. Bobby comes around the corner and sees Lisa's phone still sitting on the side table. He pulls on his backpack and runs out the door to try to catch Lisa. Bobby yells, "Lisa, Lisa, Lisa!" But she's already on the city bus heading to work. The school bus arrives, and Bobby slides Lisa's phone into the side pocket of his backpack. Chapter 5, Real Love of in19. Hopefully you enjoy. Let's get into it. He then jumps onto the bus and sits in the empty seat to the left in front of the very back bench. As they were riding along, another alarm on Lisa's phone went off, saying don't be late for work, because Lisa forgot to dismiss it earlier. Everyone stares at Bobby and the phone and laughs slightly. Next, the bus driver says, "Come on, guys." Then they stop laughing and face forward, embarrassed by the incident, then unlocks the phone to turn the power off. But before he does, he sees the text from Taylor. He became sad for his sister and himself. He was best buds with Blake, and especially after his parents' disappearance. He didn't have a father figure in his life. Blake was the closest he had to one. He then scrolled down through pictures on Lisa's phone. He pressed on one of the photos of his family standing in front of a large house several months before. Then the memories flooded back of this time into his mind when two people came walking by with moving boxes from the moving company that was working for Lisa and Bobby's family. The reason they were moving into such a large house was because their parents were out of work and needed help. So their parents and them were moving into their grandparents' house for a little while. Their grandparents were going on a cruise after they helped them move in. Back to Bobby on the bus. He swiped to the next photo of an explosion in the kitchen of Lisa and Bobby's mother, OD, which is what everyone called her, and stand for Olivia Diana. She was going to fix a smoothie and forgot to put the lid on. Therefore, it exploded all over the kitchen. And on OD's glasses. The ingredients were sticky, so she couldn't get them off of her glasses and had to put her glasses down. This was a problem, particularly for her, because she had 90% vision loss, but had found a way to work around it for the most part. Bobby swiped to the next photo of Lisa and Bobby sitting in the doorway with happy faces looking out the door with piles and piles of luggage and beach stuff. Rewind to earlier that morning. Odie was looking through cabinets trying to find some last-minute items, picked up a hairdryer, put it in a suitcase on the counter, and yelled out, "Time to go, Cruz, hurry up and get ready," she said in a singing voice. Lisa immediately woke up when she heard what her mother was saying. Lisa jumped out of bed. She pulled out her covers. She pulled out her suitcase from underneath her bed, and she heard her mother saying, "Hurry up, we have to leave right away." She hears Bobby fall out of his bed, pulling his suitcase and unzipping it, and proceeding to pull his drawers open. Lisa felt kinda strange that her mom didn't come into the room to talk to her directly, but she ignored it, thinking that they were in a rush, and she was just happy that they were going on a cruise. She started grabbing stuff that she wanted to bring: clothes, jewelry, an extra blanket, extra shoes, a hat, a jacket, a camera, her purse with her phone, some makeup, money to spend, her sunglasses, sunscreen, and headbands. Then she walked by a board, looking at it and smiling, pulling a note by it and kissed it. It says, Lisa and Bobby would love to-do list. Number 1, go on a 2-week vacation cruise, in all caps. Number 2, visit a beach. Number 3, go to an amusement park that's not powered by giants. Number 4, Lisa learning to drive. Number 5, travel back in time. Just joking. Number 6, please let Blake ask Lisa to prom. Lisa blocks out the words. Now goes on to birthday presents and Christmas present. Bobby would like a video game set with 1, maybe 2 games. Lisa would like a new purse. Lisa would like a phone stand, like how camera stands are. Back to Lisa. Lisa, she's stuffing her bag and shutting the suitcase. She pulls it off the bed and proceeds to run downstairs.
It's Riley here, and today we are reading Chapter 6, I Love You So Much I Will Leave You, from in19. Down the stairs at the front door, their car was parked with the trunk open and facing the 2 French doors, which were wide open. Odie and Bobby and Lisa's father, Calvin, were packing the car. Odie hands Calvin 2 small suitcases, and Calvin puts them in the back of the car. Odie says, I'm gonna go get the kids. Lisa and Bobby in front of Bobby's room. Lisa says, it's time to go. Bobby says, I got to go. Lisa says, hurry up, and starts pulling all of her and Bobby's stuff down the stairs. Odie hands 2 boxes to Calvin to put in the car and says, I've got the first aid kits. Then Lisa sees the car driving away. Lisa makes it to the bottom of the stairs. 2 doors, wide open. Bobby later reaches the bottom of the stairs and sees that there is no car. Bobby asks, did Mother and Father go to get something real quick? Lisa replies, I don't know. Bobby says, what did they say? Lisa says, nothing. They just drove away while I was halfway down the stairs. Bobby says, that's weird. Maybe they're just in a rush. Why don't you try texting Mother? Maybe they just forgot. 5 hours later, Lisa says, I've been texting them for a whole 5 hours, non-stop. Bobby looks down in shame and says, it's all my fault. I was the one who took too long. Lisa shuts the French doors and then turns around and looks at Bobby and says, no, it wasn't. But Lisa couldn't finish. Bobby said, no, remember? Father said if you don't start getting ready on time, then you all will start leaving without me. Lisa says, no, he was just joking, and anyway, I'm still here. Lisa says as she thought to herself, what if it's true that they left to teach Bobby a lesson, and then perhaps didn't tell Lisa so that she wouldn't give it away? Both hungry, they decided to go into the kitchen to get something to eat. It was at this point Lisa remembered that a lot of people were coming that day. Lisa said, now that I think about it, it's kind of odd for them to just randomly decide to go on a cruise and not tell us. Bobby says, maybe they just wanted to surprise us. Lisa says, that doesn't make sense. Remember, Mother and Father were going to be interviewed today? Lisa said as she turned towards the counter. Then she said, "What are these?" She was talking about small glass cups that were in 3 rows of 5, except for the third row, which only had 3. The other 2 were at the edge of the island, close to the entrance of the lobby. Lisa smelled one of them. "Gross," she said. "It smells like the cleaner Father was using to clean the windows the other day, which was sitting on the counter strangely." Lisa then looked. Over to the left of her, there was a jug full of lemonade that Mother bought the day before her glasses got dirty. It was sitting next to the window cleaner bottle, which strangely was the same size and shape as the lemonade jug. Lisa then walked over to the cleaner and picked it up. It was very light. She then began to read the back of it. She specifically was looking for the warnings. She found them and began to read the first one. "Do not get in eyes, and what to do if you did." The next one said, "Keep out of the reach of children." It then went on to say, "If a person ingests any of the cleaners, call poison control immediately, because drinking it can result in immediate brain damage and cause the victim to have trouble forming words and even show symptoms of intoxication." Bobby asked, "What does that mean?" Lisa says it doesn't matter. Lisa thought to herself for a second and realized what had happened. Her mother had mistaken the window cleaner for lemonade because she did not have her glasses. She poured it into all of the cups and then she and Father drank it, probably already being affected by the cleaner fumes being in the air. Lisa pulls out her phone and throws it to take a picture. Then, one of the interviewers was knocking on the door. Bobby said, "Come in." Lisa said, "No, Bobby, if he finds out we're here alone, he'll take us to an orphanage, and then we won't be able to find Mother and Father. We need to get some help." Bobby says, "I know who can help. My babysitter, Mrs. Reef." Lisa says, "I don't think Mrs. Reef could help us. No offense, but she's kind of an old lady." Bobby says, "You'll see." Back to Bobby on the bus. He swipes down to a picture of Lisa in a security guard outfit. A few weeks earlier, Miss Reef was tricked by Lisa into believing that she was 19 years old instead of her actual age, which was only 15. Miss Reef had only heard that Lisa was Bobby's older sister and nothing of her age from their parents, so she helped her get a job at the museum and signed them up for abandonment therapy sessions at a therapy program her 3 sons, the transport children, run at the same museum Lisa is going to work at. Lisa had to tell them that their parents abandoned them as an explanation for why Bobby was going to be living with her. Miss Reef also got them an apartment and Bobby in school. Back to Bobby on the bus. He swipes down to a picture of him and Lisa in front of their new apartment. Bobby and Lisa walked up to their new apartment. Lisa felt bad for lying, but was more surprised that she believed it. Although many people in stores and at restaurants thought she was older than she was, she couldn't believe they did think she was older than she was. She thought they were joking or saying that to make her feel good, but this was their new home. Miss Reef and her family gave Lisa and Bobby gifts such as furniture and beds, which the second oldest brother, Peter, gave. The youngest brother and the youngest in the family, Noah, agreed to clean the whole apartment. Riley decorated and added personal touches from their old house based on their request. Miss Reef found a list of things they wanted and decided to buy some for them. So she also shopped for groceries and various things. Miss Reef's family seemed like the kind of family that invites you over for the holidays even if you're a stranger. Later on, Lisa was in her work uniform and getting ready for her first day of the job / therapy. Bobby took a picture of them in the front of their new apartment. Bobby would come after school later in the evenings for his therapy sessions. The bus rode up to the museum parking lot. The bus stopped at the sidewalk. Lisa got out and walked to the sidewalk, and right behind her there were two guys, David and Tyler. Behind them is a girl named Pepper. Lisa opens the door and goes in.
The end. Da da da.